right, welcome to the show today, everyone. We've got an exciting guest on the HyperFast Agent show today. He's the owner of several Keller Williams franchises. He's built out this amazing recruiting software, CRM, all-in-one kind of platform that we'll talk about today. He's also a coach of several real estate agents, has an Airbnb business. He's involved in a ton of stuff. You're going to get a ton of value out of him. Welcome to the show, Adam Roach.
Thanks, Dan. Happy to be here. Super excited to share whatever we can share, man.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I know you've got a lot to share, and you just got back from a cool event in Aspen, Colorado, where that I was actually at too. We were so busy, we didn't have time to connect, which is kind of funny given that we were on a podcast together the following week. But
right,
you know that event, I just like to always mention it whenever it comes up. It's called Go Abundance. If any of the listeners out there, viewers, have questions about it, please contact either of us to learn more. It's just a great group of, how would you describe it? Like male entrepreneurs that, although they do have a women's division now, but male entrepreneurs that want to kick ass at everything in life, like from not just business, but giving back, accountability, relationships, health, all of that, right?
Yeah, well, I'll give you the quick CNN version on how I got involved. Probably a lot of your listeners out there, male or female, are in a space where they feel they need mentors, or they feel they need a space to go ahead and say, hey, listen, I'm doing amazing things, but they might feel judged if they go share with their normal friends. And I heard David Osborne speak at a panel one time, and I saw that guy, and I thought, you know what? I'd run through fire to hear that guy speak again. Anyway, long story short, he shared with me that he had just created this group with a couple other guys called Go Abundance, and I checked it out, and that was way back in 2014. And they have an inside model that Dan, that you don't have to apologize for being a badass. And that's what's really neat about the environment of Go Abundance is it's just a bunch of non-judgmental, hard-charging bros that just love to do things really big, and also have a good heart around family and friends and so on and so forth. So yeah, love Go Abundance.
Yeah, and just to highlight the winter trip, like where else do you get to go ski some of the most beautiful mountains in the world by day, and then at night go hear guys like Ed Milet, come in and talk, and all sorts of entrepreneurs and leaders, and then just get in small groups and mastermind and learn.
Totally.
So it was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you kept your hand up, but I definitely kept my hand up when they said a coaching call with Ed Milet. I was going to probably keep that hand up to about $10,000. Yeah, I'm really cool for that opportunity.
Yeah, that was awesome. That they auction off different things with some of the speakers. And so if you guys are listening, have any questions about that, reach out, let us know. Be happy to share information. But Adam, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Yeah, no, here we can go down and dirty and go real fast. So I'm originally from Indiana, but I grew up in Los Angeles, as I say, in business world. I was a tennis player. And found out real quick on the professional tour that I was an American, not a European, and I was getting my ass handed to me all the time. So I actually got into the tennis industry in Beverly Hills and started flipping homes. And the next thing you know, I'm with a real estate brokerage there in Beverly Hills called Keller Williams. And fast forward from that moment in time, which was right around 2008, 2009, here we are 2020. Between myself and my girlfriend, we'd owned 6 KW franchises. We launched a software company inside of Keller Williams. We have podcasts. We have we have Airbnbs. We have a coaching company. We have all kinds of things going on, man. So that's the quick CNN version of who Adam Roach is. 2 beautiful kids, 11-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter, and who also came to Aspen and skied for the first time. Hell, they'd never seen a mountain before, Dan. That was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's it, man. And now we're just building this empire, building it as big as we can. And I have a goal of impacting 100 million people with our software, our recruiting software. And we're slowly but surely chipping away at that 100 million.
That's really cool. So I was going to ask you, you've named like 4 or 5 different business lines. I think I know the answer based on how you said,
sure,
what you just said. But what is your most favorite one out of all of those?
Yeah, you know what? Probably the recruiting software. And I'll tell you why. So it's called Recruiting Bridge. We actually have 4 different versions of it. So we have, if you're inside Keller Williams, we have Recruiting Bridge, and that's for the office. We also have what's called Recruiting Bridge for agents, And that's so they can help not only build their own teams or their own empires, but it also helps them in their profit share space. We have what's called Exceed. So it's xceed.io, which is for non-KW. That's the white labeled version of Recruiting Bridge. And then we have what's called chamberscout.com, which is if you're in the Chamber of Commerce world, it also helps you recruit businesses. And recently we've developed this hierarchy brand, if you will, and we're getting ready to launch it at Keller Williams Family Reunion in Dallas in 2 weeks, called iloverecruiting.com. So on that space, you'll be able to see the brands, you'll be able to see upcoming events that we have. We have a coaching platform inside of that. So if you want to go to getrealcompanies.com, you can put in your information there, and our team will reach out to you around whether that's agent coaching or whether that's recruiting coaching or whatever it is. We can do that on there as well. So we've got many different verticals going on here, Dan, and it's fun.
And that was getrealcompanies.com. Getrealcompanies.com. We'll make sure we put that in the notes, in the comments, show notes, whatever. But yeah, so how did this journey into the recruiting software platform start? I mean, did it come out of your need to recruit agents to your team, your franchises? Or
yeah, great.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So when I joined Keller Williams, I was an agent. And then I had a great team leader. So if you're unfamiliar with Keller Williams and their platform, the team leader is basically the head of the office, kind of not the broker, not a manager, someone that leads the office. And their responsibility is also to recruit. His name is Rob Agner, and Rob is still in Beverly Hills to this day. And I thought, you know what, I can do what Rob does. And so long story short, I got an opportunity to go do what Rob did in Indianapolis, Indiana, and then transferred down to Charleston, South Carolina, which is where my home base is now. And yeah, Dan, it was just a void. I'm not organized at all. I love systems, and I'm not the best at following anybody else's system. So I just created my own. And it was a platform that allowed you as an agent to send me a recruiting lead. And then I got to do my job at a higher level because I was organized. It was structured. And as you sent that lead to me, I could put them on drip campaigns. And every time I followed up with that lead, you, Dan, if you were the agent, you got notified of how well I was doing with your lead. And here's the cool part about that is I didn't build it for anybody other than myself. Actually, my partner who lives in SoCal, he built it. And the next thing you know, I had other team leaders coming up to me, and this is 2015, saying, hey, listen, that's an incredible piece of software. Can I use it too? Can I use it too? Can I use it too? And between 2015 when we launched and now 2019, we've brought in over 74,000 agents through Recruiting Bridge into Keller Williams. Really cool.
Wow, that's
I'm still waiting on my Ferrari from Gary Keller. So Gary, if you're listening, 74,000 agents gross coming into your company. I like red.
Yeah, maybe your wife should get one too, because that's a lot. I'm still comprehending it. Like there's franchises, brokerages that have like a third of that many agents that are worth like valued by like
right.
5-6 billion now. So so you've created wow, that's insane.
It's grown. And that's the neat part is it was so organic. There was no selling to it. And that's kind of what I loved, not from the standpoint that I didn't have to sell, because I love to sell and clearly I love to recruit. It was, who was that said that? There was a guy inside of GoBundance. Maybe you'll remember. Who was it that talked about being a category king? Was that Mike Dillard? Might have been. Anyway, he said that if you can create inside of a space, I thought this was really cool. To share with people that they have a problem and then you become the solution, that's when you become a category king. And we did that in that space solely inside of KW because there was a void for the team leaders to have system structure and organization inside the recruiting space. And we did it. And it literally took off organically because we filled that void. And it was probably one of my proudest moments as it relates to business, watching it grow, knowing that we were impacting so many team leaders and we were impacting so many people that wanted to either get into real estate or that were joining Keller Williams at that time. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And to this day, it's still massive inside of KW. And we've even white labeled it, as I said, to help other companies grow as well, which is really neat. And the Chamber of Commerce.
So you were a team leader for your franchise basically and needed this tool that to help recruit agents to your office, and then it worked so well, other people wanted it, and you decided to take it to the masses, basically, right?
Exactly. Well, actually, the masses came to us, Dan. That was the cool part. And
yeah.
So from 2015 in 2016, after the launch of the system, I was the number 3 recruiting team leader inside of Keller Williams. I did 183. I think it was either 183 or 185 gross agents, and we netted 103 of them inside of our own market center there in Charleston, South Carolina. And what was neat about that was, again, we can talk about numbers all day long because I love them. The profit of that company, as we increased that fast and that strong, went up nearly 65%. And again, sure, is it all about money? Yeah, sure, of course it be, because why do we do business? To fund the perfect life, right? 65% increase in owner profit was exceptional, and that was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, over 100 net agent count is insane.
Right. So now through our coaching, that's what we do. We teach people how do you grow your company by a minimum of 100 agents per year to get it to where you're going to go, and we'll teach them the systems, models, and tools on how to do that.
So who outside of the Keller Williams ecosystem, who are you coaching, and how is your product being used? Like, is it more for teams or for brokerages or individual agents?
Here's a neat one. So we've got it clearly on the internet, and it's not massively spread out there. I got a call about, I don't know, maybe about 6-8 months, close to a year ago. And I got a lead that came in that said they were from New Zealand, of all places. And I thought, New Zealand, this has got to be like a Mickey Mouse lead. So I followed up with it. And now my good buddy, Ben Mackey at his brokerage in New Zealand, I've been helping him with systems, models, and tools around how to recruit. And he's built his organization out there really, really big. It's kind of cool. So anytime I tell him, I say, Ben, if you ever need a one-on-one, face-to-face, just buy me a plane ticket, buddy. I'll be happy to come to New Zealand. It's really cool. So we help whoever needs help in that space of recruiting, building, growing, systematizing. So we've got a handful of clients that are growing their companies right now as we speak. It's funny. I just got off a coaching call before this one, and we've helped them. Our coaching platform has helped them grow their company. And last month alone, they brought in over $32 million worth of production into their office. And so the systems work. They work at a really high level, and so does the platform. They're using Exceed because it's a different vertical than Keller Williams, and they love it from the standpoint that they can track their leads through the pipeline system. And as I coach them, now we get to talk about the value of their pipeline, so they can build predictability and purposefulness as they're growing their office and not just guessing or winging it. I haven't heard of like this kind of system out there before. So I'm cool.
I'm very, very impressed. Like, how does it, this one office, they brought in 32 million. How would they, like, how does it work for them? What does it give them? Is it similar to like a CRM that follows up with a buyer or seller prospect that comes in on Zillow, or
exact same way? So a lead comes in. That's one of the things that we're shooting for, is to impact 100 million people. So we generate leads literally all over the country. And as we generate these leads, we help these companies in their specific area with these lead flows. Now, sure, you're going to get people that are just looky-loos, or they've watched HGTV and they thought, well, I can do what they do on TV, right? And then you're going to get the people that are in real estate school, or you're going to get your unicorns that say, hey, listen, I'm in real estate and I hate my brokerage where I'm at. So can you help me find a brokerage? And then as we go through this coaching process for recruiting, we teach them scripts. We teach them closing techniques. We teach them onboarding also. And I'll tell you, Dan, what's really neat, and as I just got off this call, they were like, we were winging it prior to coaching inside of your organization. And now we have some systems and structures that actually work. And $32 million in 1 month later, here we grow.
Okay. So I didn't know from, earlier in the interview, sounds like you actually are generating the leads as well.
We are. Yeah.
Okay.
Our goal is to become the Zillow of recruiting leads, right? For the real estate space. And we're on our way. We probably generate upwards of 200 to 300 leads of people wanting to know more about real estate, or people that are in real estate school right now per month. And then what we do is we'll take those leads and we'll just divvy them out based on the location that they're in.
Wow, that's impressive. I have nothing.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun. You know, at the end of the day, it's one of those things that's a passion of mine to grow. It's a passion of mine to teach people how to recruit. It's a passion of mine because if you think about it, and that's why we built I Love Recruiting, Dan, because this doesn't have to stay linear, if you will, in the recruiting space. Or in the real estate space. We recruit all day long, right? I'm a father. I recruit my kids to freaking eat their right breakfast in the morning, right? I don't know. I'd love to have Dr. Ruth on our show one time when we launch our I Love Recruiting podcast, right? Because you're probably recruiting your significant other to hopefully have some fun at night, right? Who knows what you're doing in the recruiting space, but that's kind of why we built that brand, is because recruiting happens everywhere. We're just damn good at it in the real estate space right now.
Yeah, I agree. It's like sales, you know, some people you hear maybe they're not in a they're in a non-sales career, and they say that they're not in sales, but there's really not much in life that you can do that doesn't require influencing someone else. Like even just, you know, being a parent, like you've got to sell your kids on.
Exactly. Going to bed at the right time.
Yeah.
Like, right. It's the same thing. And that's the cool part about, if we go back to the real estate space, it's when these people are raising their hand, it's because they're stuck, right? Or they have a gap from where they are to truly where they want to grow to. And when we put them in the right space, I mean, think about what Zillow does. As they generate these leads and they give them to an agent, that individual has a gap, right? That gap is, hey, listen, I want to sell my house. I want to buy a house, and I want to go on to my next level of success. And that's the exact same thing that we do in the recruiting space. Is agents are either plateauing, or they're stuck, or they're stagnant, or they're bored where they are. And they're just looking for a little difference. And we connect them with the right people. And next thing you know, they've grown.
Yeah. Why do you think people struggle so much with recruiting?
Mindset. I think it's a 100% mindset, right? I think that they get into the space and they start to vomit all over people. Oh my gosh, my company's this good. It's that good. It has nothing to do. Ultimately, it really has nothing to do with the company, and it has everything to do with you, the recruiter. Because as you're recruiting, what you're doing is you're sharing your value proposition by asking questions. And in my opinion, by asking questions, you're actually getting to know the person more, and you're actually in control of the conversation. And the person that talks is the one who feels they got the most out of it. So watch this, Dan. As you and I are sitting here, what is the single most important factor that people like to talk about the most?
Themselves, yeah.
Right? But if you sit there and you vomit all over somebody that's in front of you that wants to know more about the company, well, they're not talking. They're not getting anything out of it. They're just listening, right? And if you get them to start talking about themselves, I don't care if you're with company ABC or if you're with the largest company in the world, you get them to start talking, you can recruit them any way you want to.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, it's not much different than like a buyer or seller. You know, you got to make it about them and what problem they have and how you can, you know, after you figure that out, how do you solve that for them? And I think that's
exactly, you know, Johnny Seller, when you sell this house, where are you looking to go? Right? They'll tell you. And how soon do you want to be there? And great, what's important to you about that? It's the exact same thing.
And I think another similarity between, you know, buyer and seller leads and recruiting is that you know, you'll get the agents that don't do well because they get rejected by a few sellers or buyers, and they sort of give up. And the recruiting game is that on steroids, I think.
Exactly.
Like, you know, you have to kind of have tough skin and realize this is my value proposition. If it matches for this person, great. If it repels this person, well, that's great too, because that I didn't bring on someone that, you know, wasn't a good match for my value proposition, instead of being offended by it.
Exactly. Well, you asked the question, you know, what stops these recruiters or something along the lines of that. And one thing that I would say is when you get the mindset that some will, some won't, some wait, so what, who's next? You're going to be an awesome, you're going to be a rock star, right? You're going to be great at this, because a lot of people do take it personally, and some will, some won't, some wait, so what, who's next, right? You go find the right fit for you. And again, from the recruiting standpoint, When you understand your own value proposition, number one, and when you understand your own vision and your vision statement, and you can articulate that to somebody, and if that someone can see themselves succeeding inside of that vision or that vision statement, it's a slam dunk, man. It's pretty simple thereafter.
Yeah. I mean, I agree completely. So it sounds like you've got an amazing thing going. You know, you started with this platform and built it in Keller. Now other agents are using it. Now other businesses are using it, like Chamber of Commerce. Now you're coaching people on how to use it. Like, what's next, and where do you see this going in 5 years? I know you said you want to impact 100 million lives, but how do you get there? Like, what kind of path do you see this thing taking?
Well, so at the end of the day, as we continue to help as many people as we can build out their organizations, I envision this going into different vertical spaces, not just a real estate space. Let's go into any space that has the need for talent, that has the need for building their companies. I don't care what industry it is. I know that we can impact that. So we've just got to get to 100 million people impacted. And again, by one recruiting appointment at a time, we'll get there. And here's the cool part is as we grow this, clearly the one-to-one will be fine, but the one-to-many as it relates to recruiting will be much faster to that 100 million. So if we're able to help someone recruit a whole brokerage over that has 100 people, great. That cut into that 100 million versus just one. So I see this going into the mortgage industry. I see this going into MLM. I see this going into any space that has a recruiting need we can get into and we can help.
Yeah, I love it.
And so we develop it.
Where do you see most recruiting leads come from, either for yourself or what some of the more successful brokerages or teams are doing? Like, how are they actually generating the leads?
Well, if you think about it, Dan, the easiest way, if we stay just in real estate, right? If we coach a real estate agent, we tell them to go into their database, because their database are the people that know, love, and trust them. And then they need to track the number of referrals that are coming from their database, because that individual that gave you a referral is probably going to be someone that is an allied resource, someone that's an advocate for you, right? Same thing in the recruiting space. If we're talking just real estate, your agents that are currently with you are the reasons, or your database will be the reasons why they give you referrals. And if you're running a company, or if you're the broker or the manager, you better have some solid value proposition to be able to attract. And so these leads will come from, the best leads will come from, which are warm leads, your current agents. One thing that I always teach a lot of our recruiters is, let's go look at the co-op agents. Let's go look at the agents that are currently doing deals with your agents. Do you like them? And if you do like them, what do you like about them? And would they fit well into our environment or culture? Because if the answer is yes, great, agent of mine, I'm going to teach you how to warm that lead up by sharing some form of value proposition with them, so that when you ask them, hey, will you do me a favor and take the call from my manager or my broker or my team leader, because he or she just wanted to say thank you for doing a great transaction. That's all we do. And that's the best warm lead out there.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one to implement. And if they've done business with you, they're gonna be more likely to listen to you, at least, and then see where it goes from there. We really focused last year on getting our team members to refer anybody, and not just agents, like all positions on the team. And we made a contest out of it, and that really, if we compared referrals from the team in 19 compared to 18, that the contest really worked. And basically what it was, we raffled off a Mercedes lease.
Nice.
And so we told the team we got to get at least 50 for this to activate, and then after 50, we'll do a drawing at the end of the year at the team holiday party. Every referral you give is an entry into it. And
sure.
I think we ended up with like 180 referral leads.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And definitely hired a handful of agents out of that, and a handful of staff positions. And, it's just a fun way to get the entire team involved and more engaged in it. And, you see the Mercedes, you think like big price ticket, but you stretch that out over 3 years on a lease, and compared to the value of bringing on just one key person really pays for it up front. But we brought in more than that. It's like a no-brainer that to do. And so I think people should, start thinking of like ways to really engage their team and to.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you one thing that we used to do to engage them. I created what was called the Comma Club. Just like GoAbundance, we preach their horizontal income, passive income, same language. Inside of KW, we had what was called a profit share model. And I've been a passive income junkie, what feels like my entire life. And I have a goal right now, getting to $1 million of passive income per month by February 13, 2027. And we'll get there. It's just a matter of time. And so what we did is inside our office, we created what was called the Comma Club. And the Comma Club meant that you had a comma in your passive income. And if you could get to a comma of passive income, meaning whether it was from profit share or your rental properties or any way that you were currently creating legally passive income, you could join this club. And the cool part about it was we created little stickers and we created t-shirts and we created this buzz so that people who were not a part of that, right? What's the greatest thing that people want to do? They don't want to miss it, right? FOMO. And so we put stickers all over the agents' doors that had a comma in their passive income. We gave them t-shirts. Once a month they could come in and I would host an event and I would bring in like a GoBro that had massive profit share or horizontal income, passive income, and they would share, right? They'd share value just for these agents that were in the Comma Club. And next thing you know, our lead flow went from like 5 to 10 leads per month to 71 leads we were getting per month of people wanting to be in this Comma Club. And they were sending me leads to recruit. So we just recruited the shit out of them.
And is that monthly?
Yeah, we did that with Comma Club monthly. And so I would take them out and we'd go hang, we'd talk shop. I'd introduce them to people that they'd never probably either get to the opportunity to meet or whatever, like Pat Hyman, who's one of our elders in GoAbundance. He lives on Folly Beach in South Carolina, and we all went out to dinner one time. I think I took 4 or 5 people with me to meet this guy. Pat, as you know, does a great deal of passive income. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's exciting that you're working on the 2 Comma Club.
Let's get there, man. Let's get there as fast as we can, right?
Yeah, I need to get there too.
Hey, use exceed.com or use exceed.io.
Yeah, so let's actually shift the gears a little bit, talk about passive income. 'Cause obviously what you're building with the recruiting platform and whatnot is just amazing. But something that we talk a lot about in GoAbundance, and I think all real estate agents really should kind of focus in and dial is, how do you generate passive income, right? And that's income that's there whether you work or not. So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing right now for passive income and how that's grown and shifted over the years.
So I think there's 2 different types, if you will, of passive income. So the truly passive income is doing something once and getting paid for it over and over and over. Right? There's no more activity in that space, and that income still continues to come. I believe that's truly passive income. So if we look at that as a what, right now in our Airbnb space, we've turned it all over to a property manager, and that's just an expense now that we have on our P&L. So that income, in my opinion, truly is passive because we don't do anything else with that property. Inside of KW, they have their profit share. So again, that's doing something once and getting paid for it over and over and over. And I know there's other verticals out there that have revenue share models, right? I think EXP has a revenue share model. Exit Realty has something. So that's a passive income, right? I believe in the MLM world, they have a passive income opportunity or residual income, stock market, dividends, same thing, right? Now, the challenge is there's also what I think is called leveraged income. Right. So if you start to build your company and take real estate as an example, and you start to scale yourself or you scale your company, sure, you'll bring on an admin, and then you'll bring on a marketing specialist, and you'll bring on buyer's agents, and then maybe a few more buyer's agents. And now that buyer agent money is actually starting to become leveraged income. Right. And as I coach people in this space, it's how do we get to a space, Dan, that is right, when you look at your dollar productivity per hour, how do you get your dollar productivity per hour such that it's all dollars and no hours, right? All dollars and no hours. So if you were, again, stay in the real estate space, when you bring on these buyer's agents, you're starting to leverage your time there. And let's just hypothetically say that all your buyer's agents are on a 50-50 split with you. So as that dollar comes in, sure, they get 50% of that. Your leveraged income now is that other 50%. Now, the question, I think I heard you say earlier that you have replaced yourself. You're no longer in production. Now we're starting to really look at some serious leveraged income, which truly then can become passive when you are no longer the CEO of the company. Now you're the chairman of the board and you're sitting on Tahiti having a cocktail and that income is still coming in, right? So I think that's how you go from passive or leveraged income to truly passive income. And as we build these companies inside of I Love Recruiting, those will eventually start to become passive income for me, because right now I'm looking for all my who's inside of there to run all these different verticals. So we'll get to $1 million a month in passive income. It's just a matter of who can we go find to help us build this.
Yeah, I like that framework actually of leveraged versus passive, versus like what I would call active, like, as a direct result of you. Because I think a lot of groups like GoBundance, it's very clear to me that there's this active bin of, the money I get directly for doing work. And then there's this passive horizontal bin for, money that I get from investments I make or things I set up. But I've always thought there was kind of this in-between space.
Right.
And
that's leverage income, right?
Yeah, where I'm sort of in it, but I'm not in it as much as like walking a buyer from, meeting and greeting to closing. So it's interesting to hear that term leverage. I think that's a really good framework for people to think about.
So here's what I do, Dan, on our one sheet, right? So inside of GoBundance, everybody, we have what are called one sheet, which is basically our baseball card of who we are, right? Our stats, our financial stats, our health stats, our highs, our lows as it relates to what it is we're looking to accomplish. And on there, as it relates to then our passive income or our horizontal income, I'll take our businesses and I'll give it a certain percentage of passive income, right? So hypothetically, if we make $100,000 in profit and I was only in that space for 10%, I'll take 90,000 be my passive, and the other 10 will be my my vertical income.
That's a good way of looking at it, because it doesn't kind of neatly fit into
no, leverage.
buckets.
There's a line for leverage income, right? Yeah. And that's the fun part, right? When we can teach that. I don't know why the hell they didn't teach us this in high school, right? I'll share a funny story real quick. So I have an 11-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter, and my son, I hide nothing from them as it relates to money, because I feel that money is just a simple little energy. That if we put negative energy into it, it just kind of sucks. No one likes to talk about money, and I have no problem talking about money with the kids. And so I'm sharing with my son about passive income. I'm sharing with my son how there's a way to actually make money while you're sleeping, and here's some of the ways to do it. I don't know why they didn't teach us this in high school. I wish they would, but that's a whole nother conversation. And so I go to bed, and he had these gyms, right? He loves to, like in North Carolina, he'll go up to like these gym mining places in the sand, and then he rinse the sand off, and there's some gyms. And so a while ago, I got him an eBay page, his own eBay page. And so right before he goes to bed, he takes a little picture on his iPad and posts his gyms on his eBay page. And he wakes up, he's like, "Dad, you'll never believe I made passive income while I was sleeping last night." I said, "Buddy, what'd you do?" He's like, "Well, I put some gyms on my eBay page for 1 penny, and I woke up and I had someone bid 5 pennies for it. So I made 4 pennies of passive income." I said, "Buddy, way to go." I said, "But if you want to get really into the details, that's an unearned income because you haven't sold it yet, but that's a whole nother conversation." I was just proud of him that he did that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, and good for you for, making that information, education available to your children, because you're right. Like they don't teach you that in school.
Why are we in our late 30s and 40s just now learning about how to make money while we're sleeping, right? Shit, teach us this when we're 10 or 20, and let us figure out how to. Again, I don't think I ever want to retire. What I want to do, though, is just be able to be in a space where I can give as much as possible and help everybody around me, whoever needs it. Right? That's really where Adam Roach truly wants to get.
What outside of leveraging your business, I've heard you talk Airbnb, and like, what else are you doing for passive income, or like, what would you recommend for the solo agent out there, how to start or what to do?
I'm a huge fan of real estate, and real estate as a whole will always be, again, in my opinion, a great investment, right? I had a mentor one time tell me, Adam, you can never lose in real estate. You only lose in real estate if you have to sell, right? And so if you buy real estate and hold real estate, the value of that real estate will go up over time. Because think about it, if you have someone in your property, even if you overpaid for it, there's still a renter is in there paying down the principal, number one. Number two, you have depreciation. And number three, you have appreciation of the marketplace. So even if you had a 1% appreciation, great, take that 1%, because now you have deductions of depreciation and you have someone in there paying down your principal. So I'm a huge, leverage it out though, right? Don't be my opinion only. Being your own property manager, if you're not a property manager, sucks. And no one wants a phone call at 11 o'clock at night saying the toilet's running and there's shit everywhere, right? No one wants that. So find a great property manager you can partner with and start to build that. If you have income or if you have finances as a barrier, it's never a barrier, right? That just means you need to go talk to more people to say, hey, listen, I found a sweet deal. Will you finance it for me? And I'll take 5% equity. So just get in and go play. Go read Robert Kiyosaki's books, right? Other People's Money. Go read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Go read Cash Flow Quadrant. Those are such simple, easy reads to understand how to start to build your wealth.
Yeah, all good stuff. I agree completely. We're almost done here. I want to end with the HyperFast lightning round. So just a couple quick questions and just give us some short answers.
Got it.
Let me know when you are ready.
Ready. Fire away, Dan.
All right. What is the biggest piece of advice you would give to a new real estate agent?
Lead generate. Learn to lead generate. Just go. Prospect, door knock, get out there and meet as many people as you can.
All right. What about a real estate agent that is at the team leader level?
Someone that's got a team right now, understand your numbers. So first of all, understand your money, understand your P&L, understand your profit margins, and then continue to leverage.
All right. What is the hardest lesson you've learned in business?
Ooh, good one. Hardest lesson I've learned. The who's you surround yourself with and the who's you get into business with really do matter. And if someone presents you an opportunity, you are to look at the who's first, in my opinion, and then the opportunity second. Because if you get into the opportunity and you realize the who's are not who you want to be in business with, life sucks.
It's a good one. What about the biggest piece of investment advice for realtors?
Yep. It's never about the money, right? It's never, ever, ever about the money. If you're a realtor, you have an unfair advantage of opportunities. So if you find an opportunity and you don't have the capital to invest in it or the powder to invest in it, go find somebody. It's never about the money.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for being on the show, Adam. This was great stuff. I think if you are an agent out there looking to, build a team or a broker, wanting to build more people or bring more people into your business or in any industry, it sounds like, Adam's got a great platform to help train you, coach you, and a great CRM system, lead generation system for adding more talent to your business. And I think, more and more that's becoming like one of the most important factors in any business.
Truly. Yeah. So if they want to reach out to me, they can go to getrealcompanies.com. They can fill out the capture sheet there, or in probably about 2 or 3 weeks, they can go to iloverecruiting.com and everything will be on there.
Okay. So you guys heard that. Go to getrealcompanies.com, or by the time this show drops,
I Love Recruiting will be available.
iloverecruiting.com, getrealcompanies.com. Check it out. If people want to connect with you on social media, what's the best way?
Sure. Instagram, Adam R. Roach is the best one. We have Recruiting Bridge up there as well, but Adam R. Roach is pretty much has everything on there right now. So it's 2 R's there in the middle. So Adam R. Roach.
All right. Well, thanks again for being on the show, Adam. That was amazing value, and I'm excited for people to learn from you, excited to will watch your platform grow and impact 100 million lives.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, man. Had fun.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the HyperFast Show. Subscribe to us if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest HyperFast shows. And remember, we love reviews. Reviews help us bring better and better guests and improve our shows. So give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you want to see more videos like this, click right here. And if you want 10 tips from Sunil and I on how we've built wealth through real estate, click right here to download them instantly. And if you're new to the channel, click below to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out. And let me know in the comments what you think about the videos. I read them weekly and I pick winners at random. And I give out stuff like hats, shirts, coaching calls with me, and tickets to some of our events. I'll see you next time.